The developers at Third Law Interactive may work from within the confines of a peaceful-looking church in Dallas, Texas, but don't let that fool you. Their inaugural game, Kiss Psycho Circus: The Nightmare Child, intends to take players on a bizarre journey through a world populated by a freak show beyond imagination. Leaping demons, maniacal unipsychos, and a huge arachnid clown are the main attractions. So step right up and prepare for the most twisted show on earth. These game developers are serious gamers and Kiss fans from way back, but the game's influences run much deeper than the obvious.
A lot of us in the company are big console gamers, and so when we set out to make Psycho Circus, we were influenced by a lot of classic gameplay elements from console games. One that was hot at the time was Zelda 64. At the time we started forming the company, and so we really were inspired by that game and wanted to include some of those elements in Psycho Circus. Something that we borrowed from that would be the boss encounters, the way that you enter this room and there's this cinematic that shows you the boss's movement. Kind of gives you a little bit of a clue as to how that boss works and their pattern. You see just a little bit of it before you actually start fighting them, and so that's something that happens in our game.
The Todd McFarlane Psycho Circus comic books also play a major part in the game's nightmarish appeal.
When we set out to make the 4 Elder, which are the Kiss personalities in Psycho Circus, we really looked directly at the comic book and at the toys that are based on the comic book, and we based our designs on that. And in the comic book, the characters, they kind of evolve from issue to issue, so they're not consistent. And we were given a little liberty as well. We kind of changed their look a bit, but it's really drawn from that. And not just the characters, but the whole world, that whole kind of nightmarish twist on reality, we took from the comic. The comic portrays that really well, and it was really fun as game developers to get this kind of new circus nightmare twisted theme for environments to go through.
The members of Kiss appear in the game as elders, and each harnesses a different element from the Psycho Circus universe.
In the world of Psycho Circus, the Kiss personalities, they're not known as they are as in the rock band. There's no Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. They're called the Elder, the 4 of them collectively. And so Gene Simmons' personality is known as the Demon, and Paul Stanley is known as the Star Bearer. Ace Frehley is the Celestial, and Peter Criss is the Beast King. And each of them have their own sort of realm that they rule over in the world of Psycho Circus. We have the Earth realm for Peter Criss, Water realm for Paul Stanley, Fire realm for Gene Simmons, Demon, and the Air realm for Ace Frehley as the Celestial.
As one would imagine, the game's plotline is volatile, mirroring that of the comic book series.
You start out as a mortal, just a regular human being, and basically you pick up each part of the character's costume pieces as you go along through the level. And what you do, the overall plot is to stop the nightmare child from being born. And the way you do that is with each character, you work them through their own realm, which is very unique in its own different ways. And you get the pieces of the costume and become this elder beast, which is capable of destroying the nightmare child. And you do that with each of the 4 characters.
Developing Kiss characters into a game-friendly format was one of Matt Hooper's biggest challenges in developing Psycho Circus.
Yeah, that's been a lot of fun, the whole Kiss side of it, because, and it kind of springs from the comics. They did a good job with taking those Kiss guys and working them into more like a game situation. And we've had a lot of fun with it. We're doing a lot of in-game situations where people that are Kiss fans will recognize the different characters and what they've grown up to know about those different characters.
As one of the 4 members of Kiss, players will face a vast array of abhorrent beasts, and sometimes their numbers are overwhelming.
What we've done from a design standpoint early on when we realized we wanted to make an action game was come up with the idea of having horde creatures. And it kind of takes the player back to the Doom days where he was faced with tons of creatures on the screen at one time. And it's something that you haven't seen in a lot of games recently, the 3D games, for a very good reason, because they can't accommodate that many monsters. They just don't have the power to draw that many on the screen. So what we've done from a design early on was set a goal to have a lot of monsters on the screen if we were going to make an action game. And we do that by the way they're modeled, the environments they're in. Their AI is programmed in a certain way to allow us to achieve this. one of the advantages of using LithTech, it has a very good level of detail system already implemented in it. So basically we can throw dozens of creatures on the screen and give the player that intense action feel. Even if they're easy to kill and they may not pose some serious threat all of the time, the player constantly has this adrenaline pumping as he's going through the levels.
The big question that KISS fans are asking about is the game's soundtrack. Will it include any KISS tracks?
We're doing, primarily for the game, we're using game music, and it's interactive direct music, because we want, above all, to have that game experience in there. But some of the things you'll run into is like a jukebox. In the Roadhouse, for instance, one of the first levels, you find a quarter and you go pop it in the jukebox, and all of a sudden you can choose a KISS song to be blaring out of the jukebox. Or you might have radios, or a car radio that plays a KISS song, so they'll be represented in that way.
Finally, Hooper gives Incite the skinny-on Easter eggs KISS fans might find in the game.
Some of the Easter eggs for KISS fans are things like something as simple as album names, or we might have entire secret levels where it may be from some of the newer band members that have come along after, when they replaced Peter Criss, for instance. So you might have a secret level that's dedicated to one of those guys.
With its eclectic combination of diverse environments, an intriguing storyline, and a freakish cast of characters, KISS Psycho Circus is shaping up to be one wild trip. As it stands, the madness will begin April 2000.